A low rumble shakes the quiet desert as a strange glow rises behind a cluster of rocks. Moses freezes, gripping his staff as sand trembles beneath his feet. "What? What is that light?" he whispers, eyes wide. The glow grows brighter, flickering like fire yet giving off no heat. A warm wind sweeps past him, carrying a soft hum that feels alive. Moses steps closer, heart pounding. Is something hiding behind the rocks? Is someone calling me? The light suddenly shoots upward in a thin golden stream that curls across the sky like a ribbon. Moses shields his face as the glow folds back down, landing on a single desert bush that bursts into flames without burning. How can fire not burn? He gasps. The humming stops. The world falls silent. Too silent. Then a deep voice echoes from the blazing bush, gently calling his name. The air thickens. The light tightens, and the desert seems to lean in, waiting for what Moses will do next. Moses stares at the burning bush, breath tight in his chest as the desert grows completely still. The flames sway without heat, whispering soft crackles that sound almost like words form. He steps back, gripping his staff so hard his knuckles pale. Is someone calling me? He whispers. Then the deep voice returns, gentle yet powerful, filling the silent air. Moses. The name rolls out like thunder softened by kindness. Moses' heart slams against his ribs. Here I am, he answers, his voice shaking. The fire brightens, glowing like a living sun. Do not come any closer, the voice says, steady and calm. Take off your sandals, for this place is holy ground. Moses' breath trembles. He looks down at his dusty feet, then at the burning bush, then slowly begins to loosen his sandals, unsure why, but knowing he must obey. The desert feels different now, alive, listening, waiting for his next move. Moses kneels on the warm sand, sandals beside him, heart pounding as the voice from the fire grows steady and strong. I am the God of your fathers, it says, filling the air with a calm weight. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Moses immediately hides his face in his hands. Fear washes over him like a deep wave. I cannot look, he whispers. The fire flickers gently, never burning the bush. I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. The voice says, and I have heard their cries. Moses lifts his head slightly, but not enough to face the flame. His stomach tightens. He knows those cries. He remembers them. I have come to rescue them, the voice continues. Moses feels the sand shift under his knees as if creation itself is moving with the words. The fire glows brighter, almost wrapping the bush in gold. The fire flickers again and the voice becomes firm. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of Egypt. Moses lifts his head in shock. Me. His voice cracks. How can I do that? He rises slowly to his feet, dust clinging to his robe. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? The flames dance, steady and calm. I will be with you, the voice replies, strong and gentle. Moses swallows hard, staring at the bush that burns without burning. His thoughts race like desert wind. Egypt feels far too big. Pharaoh feels far too strong. And he feels far too small. But they won't believe me, Moses says softly. They will ask who sent me. The fire sways forward slightly, sending warm light across the stones, as if leaning in to answer. The fire brightens again, wrapping the bush in a warm glow. Tell them I has sent you, the voice says. The words settle deeply into Moses' heart, heavy and powerful. He stares into the flame, no longer hiding his face, though fear still grips him. I will tell them, he whispers. But doubt still lingers. What if they do not listen? What if Pharaoh refuses? The fire sways and then steadies, as if calming him. "You will not go alone," the voice promises. Moses feels something shift inside him. Small courage mixed with trembling uncertainty. He grips his staff tightly. The desert air feels lighter now, but the task ahead feels huge, stretching far beyond the horizon. Yet Moses stands, breathing slowly, knowing this moment has changed everything. Moses leaves the burning bush slowly, each step heavy as the glow fades behind him. The desert night deepens, wrapping around him like a quiet blanket. His heart still beats fast, echoing the voice he just heard. "I must go to Egypt," he whispers, almost unable to believe the words. The path ahead looks long and dark. Doubt presses on him again. How can I face Pharaoh? He wonders, but then he remembers the fire that never burned the bush. He remembers the voice that knew his name. A small spark of courage warms his chest. He tightens his grip on his staff. "God will be with me," he says softly. The wind rises, brushing sand across his feet as if urging him forward. He steps into the darkness, trembling but determined, walking toward a future he cannot yet see. By morning, Moses reaches the tents of his family. Sheep bleat softly, and a warm breeze moves through the camp. Zipporah looks up as he approaches. "Moses, you're back," she says with a smile, but it fades when she sees his face. "What happened?" Moses sits beside her, holding his staff tight. "God spoke to me," he says, voice quiet but full of weight. Her eyes widen. "What did he say?" Moses looks toward the desert. "He is sending me to Egypt, to free his people." The words hang heavy in the warm air. Zipporah reaches for his hand, squeezing gently. "You are not alone," she whispers. Moses breathes deeply, grateful for her calm strength. The mission feels impossible, but her presence steadies him. He knows he must go, and soon. Later that day, Moses prepares the donkey while Zipporah packs water and bread. Their children watch quietly. Moses checks the straps again, hands shaky. "Do you really have to go?" Zipporah asks softly. Moses nods. "God has called me." She steps closer and touches his arm. "Then he will guide you." Moses lifts the staff, remembering the fire's glow. Determination returns, steady and warm. He places his foot in the stirrup and mounts the donkey. "I will return," he says, trying to sound sure. Zipporah gives a small smile, though worry clouds her eyes. The wind rises again, pushing sand gently across the camp. Moses turns toward the road. "God, help me," he whispers, then begins the long journey toward Egypt. As Moses travels, the path grows empty and quiet. Hours pass. The sun sinks behind hills, spreading long shadows. Suddenly, the air thickens. Moses stops the donkey, sensing a powerful presence. The silence deepens until it feels heavy. "Lord," he whispers. A warm glow fills the air beside him, gentle but strong. Moses falls to his knees. The presence is peaceful yet awe-filled, like standing inside a storm made of calm light. Though the words are silent, Moses feels them in his heart. "I will be with you." The fear in him loosens. His hands stop shaking. The glow fades slowly, leaving him steadier than before. He rises, guiding the donkey forward into the dark path, now lit by a quiet courage. By the next morning, Moses nears the borders of Egypt. The land shifts around him, less desert, more stone, more signs of people. His heart tightens. Memories return. The palace, the fear, the escape. But now he carries a mission and a promise. As he walks, shadows move ahead. 3 travelers approach, leading donkeys. Moses steps aside, but one calls out, "Peace to you, traveler." Moses nods, gripping his staff. "Peace." They chat briefly, sharing water and news. When Moses mentions he is heading toward Egypt, their eyes widen. Dangerous place, one warns. Moses glances at his staff, remembering the voice from the fire. "I will not be alone," he says quietly. With renewed resolve, he continues his journey, the road stretching wide before him. Moses reaches the edges of Egypt, and the landscape shifts from quiet wilderness to bustling roads. Dust rises from carts. Workers shout. Donkeys bray. The noise feels overwhelming after the silent desert. Moses tightens his grip on his staff, breathing slowly. "God, give me strength," he murmurs. Then through the crowd he sees a familiar figure. His brother Aaron. Aaron stops, eyes widening. "Moses," his voice breaks into surprise and joy. Moses smiles, relief washing over him. "Aaron, God sent you." Aaron nods, laughing softly. "He told me to come meet you." Moses' heart swells with gratitude. He is not alone. The noise of Egypt fades for a moment as the two brothers embrace. "We have a mission," Moses says. "Then let us face it together," Aaron replies. As they walk toward the city's heart, Moses tells Aaron everything. The burning bush, the voice of God, the mission. Aaron listens closely, nodding. "God has seen the suffering of our people," Moses explains. "He is sending us to Pharaoh." Aaron places a steady hand on Moses' shoulder. "Then we will speak his words without fear." But Moses hesitates. What if Pharaoh refuses? What if no one believes us? Aaron smiles gently. "God chose you. He will show his power." Moses breathes deeply, encouraged by his brother's certainty. They move past tall stone walls, the city growing louder and thicker with people. Moses glances toward the palace rising in the distance. His stomach tightens, but with Aaron by his side, the impossible feels a little less frightening. Moses and Aaron reach the gathering place of the Israelites. Tired workers rest in the shadows, worn from harsh labor. When the brothers step forward, murmurs rise. "Is it really Moses?" one asks. He returned. Moses lifts his staff. "God has spoken," he says. "He has seen your suffering. He will free you." Hope flickers in their weary eyes. Aaron steps beside him. "The Lord will rescue his people," he says boldly. Some smile, some cry, some fall to their knees. Moses watches their faces, feeling both joy and pressure. These are the people he must help. Their hope now rests on him and the God who called him. Moses breathes deeply. Tomorrow they will face Pharaoh. Tonight he lets the people's hope strengthen him. Night falls. Moses lies awake, staring at the dark canvas of the sky. Tomorrow he will stand before Pharaoh, the most powerful man in the land. His heart beats fast at the thought. Aaron sleeps nearby, steady and calm. Moses whispers into the darkness, "Lord, will I have the strength?" A soft breeze moves the tent flap. Moses closes his eyes, remembering the fire that burned without burning, the voice that knew his name, the promise. "I will be with you." Slowly, peace settles over him. He rises, gripping his staff, and steps outside. The stars shine like tiny fires across the sky. "Whatever happens," Moses murmurs, "you will guide me." The fear remains, but it no longer controls him. Tomorrow, he will face Pharaoh. Morning comes bright and sharp. Moses and Aaron walk toward Pharaoh's palace, the air buzzing with energy. Massive stone pillars rise ahead, painted with images of gods and kings. Guards watch them closely. Moses feels the weight of every step. "Remember," Aaron whispers, "you are not speaking alone." Moses nods, steadying himself. Inside the palace gates, the floors shine like polished gold. Servants move quickly, and the sound echoes through the halls. Moses lifts his staff, holding it like a promise. "Here we go," he says quietly. Together the brothers step toward the throne room. The moment they feared and prepared for begins now. Moses and Aaron step inside Pharaoh's throne room, the air thick with heat and tension. The hall is enormous, lined with carvings of battles and towering statues. Guards stand like stone on either side. Pharaoh sits high on his throne, wearing gold that gleams like fire. His eyes narrow the moment he sees the brothers. Moses feels his knees weaken, but Aaron steps forward bold. "We come with a message from the Lord, the God of Israel," Aaron announces. Pharaoh leans forward, amused. Moses grips his staff tightly. "Let his people go," Moses says, voice steady but tense. A hush falls. Then Pharaoh laughs. A cold, sharp sound. "Who is this God that I should obey him?" he sneers. Moses' heart tightens. He stands his ground, knowing this moment marks the start of a battle far bigger than them. Pharaoh rises from his throne, anger darkening his face. "Let Israel go." "Never," his voice echoes across the hall. Moses steadies himself, breathing slow. "If you refuse," Moses says, "God will show his power." Pharaoh steps closer, glaring. "Your people are lazy. I will make their work harder." Moses frowns. This is not the reaction he hoped for. Aaron speaks again, calm but bold. "You have been warned." Pharaoh waves a sharp hand. "Guards, remove them." Spears shift as guards step forward. Moses and Aaron back away carefully, hearts pounding but spirits unbroken. As they leave the palace, Moses whispers, "Lord, what now?" The fire in the bush had promised strength. He must hold on to that promise now. Outside the palace, the heat hits them like a wave. Moses leans against a stone wall, overwhelmed. "This is not what I expected," he whispers. Aaron places a steady hand on his shoulder. Pharaoh's heart is hard, but God already knew that. Moses stares at the ground. "But now our people will suffer even more. How can this be the way?" Aaron looks toward the sky. Sometimes things look worse before God shows his power. Moses slowly nods. The crowd watches them nervously. Workers whisper. Did Pharaoh agree? Moses steps forward. "Be patient," he tells them, though his heart feels heavy. God is working even when we cannot see it. The people listen, unsure but hopeful, watching Moses with tired eyes that long for freedom. That night, Moses prays alone, sitting near a small fire outside the camp. His heart feels heavy with worry. "Lord," he whispers, "you sent me, but everything is falling apart." The people suffer more now. The wind carries the faint crackle of the fire. Moses closes his eyes. Then a gentle warmth fills the quiet night, touching his heart. A whisper forms inside him, calm, steady, full of promise. "I will show my power. Pharaoh will see. Israel will know I am their God." Moses' breathing slows. The fear inside him loosens again. He opens his eyes, staring at the fire as sparks drift into the sky like tiny stars. "I trust you," he says softly. The night feels less dark now, filled with the strength he needs for what comes next. Morning arrives with sharp sunlight. Moses and Aaron gather again before the people. Moses lifts his staff and speaks with stronger confidence. God will act. Do not fear. He will show his power. The crowd listens closely, their tired faces softening with new hope. Aaron steps forward. Pharaoh's heart is stubborn, but God's power is greater. Moses feels courage rise inside him. The fire of the burning bush seems to glow again in his memory. "We will go back to Pharaoh," Moses announces. A hush falls, and God will show signs that cannot be denied. The people murmur with cautious hope. Moses grips his staff tightly. The first sign, the first miracle, is coming soon, and Pharaoh will have no choice but to see the power of God. Moses and Aaron stand once more before Pharaoh's throne. The room feels even heavier than before. Guards shift uneasily, sensing something is different. Pharaoh stares down at the brothers, annoyed. "Why have you returned?" he demands. Moses steps forward, gripping his staff. His heart pounds, but his voice is steady. "The Lord has sent us again. You must let his people go." Pharaoh smirks. "I fear no god of slaves." Aaron looks to Moses, giving a small nod. Moses lifts his staff high. The air grows still. A hush falls over the room. "God will show you his power," Moses says. The guards tense. Pharaoh leans back, amused but curious. Then Moses throws his staff to the floor. It hits the stone with a loud crack and transforms into a living snake. Gasps echo through the hall. Pharaoh's smirk fades. Pharaoh snaps his fingers, signaling his magicians. 3 robed men step forward, confident smirks on their faces. "We can do the same," one says. They throw down their staffs, and to the crowd's shock, the staffs also become snakes. A wave of murmurs rises. Pharaoh smiles proudly. Moses watches calmly. Then, without warning, Moses' snake slides forward, powerful and swift, and swallows the other snakes whole. The magician's confidence melts into fear. Pharaoh's smile fades once more, replaced with a tight scowl. This proves nothing. He snaps. He turns away, refusing to admit what he has seen. But the room is no longer steady. Everyone feels it. God has shown his power, and Pharaoh cannot hide from it. After leaving the palace, Moses stands near the riverbanks, quiet but tense. The sun beats down as workers move about, unaware of what God is about to do. Aaron stands beside him. Pharaoh still refuses, Moses says softly. Aaron nods. Then God will show his power again. Moses lifts his staff. The river glistens under the heat, calm and wide. "God," Moses whispers, "let Egypt see your strength." He steps forward and strikes the water. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the river begins to darken. Slowly at first, then quickly. Red swirls spread across the surface until the entire river turns into blood. Fish float lifeless. Workers scream. The smell rises strong and sharp. The miracle has begun, and Egypt cannot ignore it. News of the river turning to blood spreads fast. People run with buckets, searching for clean water. Even Pharaoh hears the cries. Moses and Aaron return to the palace, but Pharaoh's heart remains hard. "Your tricks do not frighten me," he says coldly. "Leave." Moses feels frustration rise inside him, but he keeps his calm. "God is giving you a chance to listen," he warns. Pharaoh turns away. Moses and Aaron step out into the hot sun once more. The river remains red and sickening. Moses looks toward the sky. "Lord, help Pharaoh see." But deep down, he knows this is only the beginning. More signs are coming. Signs Pharaoh will not be able to ignore. Days pass. The river stays red, and the people suffer. Moses prays for guidance. Then God speaks to his heart again. "Go to Pharaoh. Tell him to let my people go. If he refuses, there will be frogs across the land." Moses and Aaron return to the palace. Pharaoh looks more irritated than ever. Moses lifts his staff. "Let God's people go, or frogs will cover Egypt." Pharaoh laughs harshly. "Enough. Leave me." Moses and Aaron step out, knowing what will follow. That night, croaks echo across the land. Small green shapes crawl out of the riverbanks, then more and more, until the ground is alive with frogs. Egypt's next warning has begun. Frogs swarm across Egypt. They crawl into baskets, ovens, beds, and even Pharaoh's halls. Servants try to sweep them away, but the creatures only multiply. hopping over carpets and splashing into jars of water. Pharaoh shouts in frustration, pacing across the palace floor as frogs leap around him. "Find Moses and Aaron," he demands. When the brothers arrive, Pharaoh's eyes burn with anger and exhaustion. "Ask your God to take these frogs away," he pleads. "Then I will let your people go." Moses exchanges a quiet look with Aaron. "We will pray," Moses says, "but keep your promise." Pharaoh nods sharply, though doubt fills Moses' heart. That night, Moses prays, asking God to remove the frogs. By morning, the croaking stops. The frogs die, leaving the land silent, but filled with a terrible smell. Even after the frogs die, Pharaoh changes his mind. He refuses to let Israel go. Moses and Aaron return to the Lord for guidance. "Stretch out your staff," God tells Moses, "and strike the dust of the ground. It will become gnats across Egypt." Moses obeys. He lifts his staff, strikes the dry earth, and dust rises into the air. The light breeze spreads it far and wide. Suddenly the dust changes. Small specks twist and shimmer, then transform into swarms of tiny gnats. They cover animals, fly into homes, and crowd the skies. Egypt erupts in panic. Pharaoh's magicians try to copy the miracle, but fail. One whispers to Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh turns away stubbornly, refusing to listen. The gnats bring misery to every corner of Egypt, but Pharaoh's heart stays cold. Moses and Aaron return once more to deliver God's warning. "If you refuse again," Moses says, "God will send swarms of flies throughout the land." Pharaoh crosses his arms, unmoved. Moses steps outside the palace with Aaron and lifts his voice to God. Moments later, a deep buzzing fills the air. Dark clouds appear on the horizon. Not storms, but swarms. They sweep across fields, cities, and homes like moving shadows. Yet, in the land of Goshen, where Israel lives, the sky stays clear. Pharaoh hears the cries of his people and trembles. The signs are no longer just wonders. They are judgments. The flies sweep into Egypt like a nightmare. They fill rooms, cover food, and land on every dish and doorway. Pharaoh summons Moses and Aaron quickly, desperation replacing his pride. "Fine," he says. "I will let your people go, but only a short distance." Moses shakes his head. "We must go where God commands." Pharaoh's face hardens, but the flies buzz loudly in his ears, making him flinch, then pray. "Fine. Ask your God to take them away," he says. Moses nods and steps outside the palace. He prays, and the buzzing slowly fades. One by one, the flies disappear. But when the air clears, Pharaoh's heart becomes stubborn again. "No," he says coldly. "Israel stays." Moses feels a mix of sorrow and anger. Pharaoh has chosen his own suffering. The days that follow bring a terrible shift. God sends Moses with a new message. A plague will strike Egypt's animals, those in the fields, not the ones belonging to Israel. When Moses delivers the warning, Pharaoh only scoffs. The next morning, the truth appears across the land. Cattle, sheep, donkeys, and horses collapse in the fields. The smell of sickness spreads. Farmers cry out in grief, yet in Goshen, Israel's animals stand healthy and strong. Pharaoh sends men to investigate, expecting a trick. They return pale and shaken. Israel's animals are untouched. They report. Still, Pharaoh refuses to bend. Moses looks out across the land and feels the weight of Egypt's suffering. Pharaoh's pride is leading them deeper into darkness. The sickness of the animals does not soften Pharaoh's heart. Moses waits for God's next instruction, feeling the weight of every moment. Then the Lord speaks again. "Take handfuls of soot from a furnace. Throw it into the air before Pharaoh. It will become fine dust and cause painful boils across Egypt." Moses obeys. He and Aaron walk into Pharaoh's court once more, carrying soot in their hand. Pharaoh watches them with cold eyes. Moses tosses the soot into the air. It rises, floating like dark powder. Then the coughing begins. Servants clutch their arms. Red sores spread on skin. Even Pharaoh's magicians fall to the ground, crying out in pain. Pharaoh grips the edge of his throne, trying to hide his fear. But still, he refuses to listen. Moses leaves the palace knowing Egypt is nearing the end of its pride. Pharaoh grows angrier, but the pain across Egypt grows worse. Moses and Aaron pray again, asking for guidance, and the Lord speaks, "Lift your hand toward the sky. A storm of hail will strike Egypt, hail like the land has never seen." Moses warns Pharaoh once more, but Pharaoh only turns away. Moses steps outside. Dark clouds roll in fast, covering the bright sky. The wind howls. Moses lifts his staff. Lightning cracks across the heavens. Then the hail begins, huge. Icy stones smashing into fields, destroying crops, breaking trees, frightening animals. Fire streaks through the storm like burning arrows. Workers scream as they run for shelter. Only in Goshen does the sky stay calm. Pharaoh finally trembles. "Tell your God to stop the storm," he cries. Moses senses a tiny crack in Pharaoh's pride. For a moment, Pharaoh seems ready to surrender. "I have sinned," he admits. "The Lord is right. Tell him to stop this storm." Moses steps outside the palace and prays. Slowly, the thunder stops. The hail melts. The smoke clears. But as soon as the sky grows calm, Pharaoh's heart hardens again. He refuses to let Israel go. Moses feels sorrow deep in his chest. God speaks again. Locusts will come. They will eat what the hail left. Moses and Aaron return to Pharaoh yet again. "Let God's people go," Moses warns. Pharaoh's advisors whisper urgently, "Egypt is ruined. Let them go." But Pharaoh shakes his head. Moses lifts his staff. A strong east wind blows all day. By dawn, the locusts arrive. Thousands upon thousands, darkening the sky and devouring every remaining crop. Egypt groans under the weight of another judgment. Pharaoh almost breaks again. "I have sinned," he says, voice trembling. "Forgive me. Pray to your God." Moses prays, and God sends a strong west wind that sweeps the locusts into the sea. But as soon as the land is clear, Pharaoh hardens his heart once more. Moses returns to God for guidance, weary but obedient. The Lord speaks, "Lift your hand toward the sky, and darkness will cover Egypt, darkness so thick it can be felt." Moses obeys. He raises his staff, and the sun disappears. A heavy shadow spreads across Egypt. People light lamps, but the flames barely glow. Work stops. Families sit trapped in their rooms, afraid to move. Yet in Goshen, Israel has light. Pharaoh calls Moses again, desperate and angry. "Go," he says, "but leave your animals." Moses refuses. Pharaoh's face twists with rage. "Leave my sight," he shouts. Moses stands tall, facing Pharaoh in the near darkness. The ruler's voice shakes with anger. "If you come before me again," Pharaoh threatens, "you will die." Moses' heart is steady now. "You will not see my face again," he replies. Then he walks out of the palace, the shadows curling behind him. Outside, the darkness shifts like a living thing. God speaks to Moses one final time. There will be one more plague. After this, Pharaoh will drive Israel out. Moses listens silently, the weight of the moment heavy on his shoulders. He knows what is coming. the most serious judgment of all. But he also knows freedom is near. God's promise stands firm. The long night of Egypt is almost over.